Hi everybody, it's Ian Butcher here, and it's a short talk to you guys specifically for the design class. We always do this at this time of year after the Masters weekend. We have a little reflection, but it's also another weekend going on here in St Andrews which I want to share with you. It's the Old Course in Reverse this weekend. So they've turned it into quite a big event now, and there's some events that I'll tell you about. So first and foremost, the Augusta. Reflections on design and turf conditioning. There's a lot to talk about. We haven't got time for all of it, but the one word that comes to mind when I was watching it this weekend was consequences. Okay, consequences. We have a 12-year-old boy. We are teaching him there are consequences to every decision. And the great thing about golf architecture when it's at its best, and Augusta demonstrated it perfectly, and so does the Old Course, is that there is a consequence to every decision you make. And you could tell how exhausted those players are when they come off the Masters course, because every shot had to be considered and a decision had to be made and then executed, and the execution depending on what you did. The Old Course plays like that as well. And of course we know that the Masters course was inspired, you know, by the Old Course with Mackenzie and Bobby Jones. So let's reflect on our own courses, and are we delivering a consequence for a shot? And I was saying to a course manager only yesterday that the architecture is one thing, the terrain is one consequence, but the turf has to be the consequence too. You can only demonstrate that architecture if you've got firm and high quality turf conditions, right? They come together, turf and terrain. John Phelp, okay, said that to me back in Carnoustie. So are we demonstrating enough consequence off the tee and then on the second shots? And we've got a podcast coming up, which I'm looking forward to doing very soon, which is about robotic mowing. There's lots of things to talk about when it comes to robotics, but I've been looking at how we can maybe reimagine the course setup, you know, because of the utility of these vehicles, the utility of these new tools. They can change the way, and I think they can raise our expectations of what we can do. So if you've got a golf course which is playing a bit bland, what features can you put in? We don't want more bunkers, that's for sure. We don't want water features, it's too expensive. So what can we do? You know, how can we contour the land? And maybe where I've seen in Sawgrass, I was watching in Sawgrass, and then just up the road we've got a 9-hole Hickory golf course. So you can't get two extremes, but they're both using grass bunkers. They're both using grass bunkers as a hazard. A nice hazard that I think could be introduced into parkland features anyway. So that was reflection on the Masters. And another thing a little bit about the technology. There was a debate about the ball again, right? 60 years too late. And it was fascinating to see that Rory McIlroy, although winning the tournament and leading the tournament, was the second worst for accuracy off the tee. And I think that indicates what's happening on tour. If you're hitting it, you know, 340 yards and you've got a wedge in your hand for your second shot, you'll take whatever consequences you get. You'll take a bunker shot. You know, the only hazard you won't take is water. So we talk about golf design. If we're going to challenge those level of golfers becoming very expensive, because we have to build really demanding hazards to try to penalise them for hitting it 340 yards. So there's consequences to all this technology and course design and lengthening and all that. And one of the best books, and then I come on to what's happening here, is that the Fried Egg podcast team, if you've heard of them from America, gave a lecture this week with an interview with Scott McPherson. Okay.